If you thought being a Hal fan in the Angry Birds series was rough, from his constant redesigns and sparse appearances throughout the franchise, I'd argue you'd have an even worse time as a Bubbles fan. As the least angry bird in the flock, this guy has almost never gotten a new design, which I guess makes him consistent, but leaves him being the main flock member with the least amount of appearances or fanfare throughout the series. Still, he's had his moments. He is the Halloween bird, basically getting a whole holiday to himself. If there's candy or inflation involved, you know he's there. And even in games like Angry Birds Space, where someone like Matilda was left out, Bubbles was included against all odds. From crazy initial prototypes to some of the best cinematic trailers out there, Bubbles does get the spotlight now and again, and he does have some top tier inclusions. So today, let's decide which are the worst and which are the best as we rank every Bubbles ever. As always, please do not take a shot every time I say the word Bubbles, or you will end this video more inflated than he is. I'll be going through the series from the beginning to the end, with merch and media thrown in towards the middle, meaning we'll be ranking Bubbles, 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 and of course, the one, the only, Bubbles. Now, without further ado, let's find out which of these orange birds are the best Bubbles out there, and which ones are so putrid and awful that make me want to pluck out their two little strands of hair. As you might have guessed, the Bubbles we know and love today was not the original design idea they had for the guy. We had a ton of early designs, and almost all of them are incredibly strange. In his first design, he was known as the Globe Bird. It already looks pretty close to the Bubbles we have today, except for the green polka dots. That's such a strange idea to me, and they picked the ugliest shade of green possible, D tier. I love his inflated expression though. That's a B tier. Next, they made him look like a red clone with light orange polka dots instead of green. I don't mind that part at all, but now the design is worse. He's just the most generic Angry Bird possible in this form, D tier. Yet once again, when he's inflated, he's amazing. Inflation fans, rise up, dude. A tier. The last prototype design we have is so close to the final look, except he's just ugly. Like, I'm not even trying to be rude, it's just a simple truth. Comparing the real Bubbles to this unibrowed weirdo is like night and day. Thankfully, they went back to the drawing board one final time and fixed him before it was too late. C tier. There's these early sketches for him too, showing some of his other design ideas at the bottom, proving he was always going to have rings around his eyes, and then we have his normal look next to a Franken Bubbles. I kinda love it, with glowing yellow eyes and a fully stitched on head. I guess at one point he would have been very Halloween themed, and while it's cool, I'm glad he's not a Frankenstein. B tier. Lastly, before getting to the first official Bubbles, we gotta rank the real life bird he's based on, the spot-breasted Oriole. It's a beautiful bird, and the light orange feathers match perfectly with Bubbles' own feather color. I always wondered why he wasn't a more harsher shade of orange, and now it's clear. I question why they were planning to give him green spots though, considering giving him a black belly and rings around his eyes pretty perfectly captures the look of the actual bird. Either way, this is an awesome bird, and I love Orioles, and I'm thinking we got our first S tier on our hands. Finally, we made it to his first appearance, which surprisingly was in Angry Birds Seasons. The very first bird to ever be introduced outside the main game was Bubbles. With Stella following suit not much later, he was tied to the Ham-O-Ween update for the game. This solidified him as a Halloween and candy-obsessed character going forward, despite eventually appearing in each of the mainline games as part of the main flock. They purposely made the guy small and happy looking, almost as if he wasn't a threat at all. Only then does he surprise you by ballooning to 10 times his size, pushing objects out of his way before deflating off screen. Through interviews, we know they want another bird to replicate the spectacle of Bomb, something to blow up and cause mass destruction. When first developing Bubbles, he did way more damage when puffed up, and so they had to tone him down to make him a little less OP. I would argue, out of the original flock, Bubbles' ability is the toughest to master. Getting him in the perfect spot is harder than it seems, and the random direction he inflates in can make or break the level sometimes. You can launch Bubbles the exact same way time and time again, and each and every time it can result in vastly different levels of destruction, deceptively making your shot look terrible, or getting so lucky you wipe out half the stage. It can make Bubbles a little frustrating to use, I'm not gonna lie, but in terms of every Bubbles out there, the classic design is obviously one of the best. He's the cutest bird in the flock, and I'm putting him in S tier. And now we have a tradition of ranking his inflated designs too. His face is always so funny in these, it cracks me up every time. I'll just put it next to his regular design in S. It's peak. Bubbles eventually returned in Angry Birds Rio, and when the birds got updated Toons designs in the Rio 2 levels, Bubbles was included. Since we actually got episodes with him in Angry Birds Toons, it's less special than Hal's inclusion, and it's barely different from his normal design, but the biggest difference is that he stays inflated for way longer in this game. I don't really know why. That definitely drops it down to an A tier for me. And obviously his inflated form is the same here. In the Fuji TV version of the game, each bird got a fun new costume like Ninja Red or Black Belt Bomb. So I was super excited to see Bubbles, only to find out all they gave Bubbles is a goddamn hat. What the hell? Pissing me off, F tier. I am shocked that Bubbles got added to Angry Birds Space. No one else got that opportunity throughout the life of this game. I have to imagine they were going to at some point. Surely they weren't planning to have Bubbles and this egg in here from the start. Though the second they added a planet made of candy, I suppose the connection was too perfect not to add him. Well, regardless, we have Cosmic Bubbles now, or Atomic Bird if you're feeling fancy. Do we know what superhero he's designed after? Like the blues are supposed to look like the Flash, for example. My guess is Martian Manhunter with the X on his chest? I love the antenna they gave him too, though otherwise, in terms of space designs, Bubbles is definitely not among my favorites. They also made him way lighter in this game, and when you activate his ability, he always just sort of floats away. One of the best parts of his power, when he deflates, doesn't even do anything anymore. This guy is useless. I'm sad to say I really don't enjoy using Bubbles in this game. I think he's gotta be a C tier. Seeing these straps expand like that in his inflated form though, I just know my inflation-loving homies out there are going nuts for that shit. B tier. I'd argue Bubbles is the most versatile character in Angry Birds Go, with the ability to inflate and roll forward at top speed. It's good for collecting clumps of fruit, it's good for running over enemies, and it's good for going fast in a race. Each level type in Angry Birds Go can benefit from bringing Bubbles. He's among my favorite racists in the entire game, and I've always loved the Rapid Rider cart he got. The red accents on the wings and his goggles are incredible. S tier. He's surprisingly great in 3D as well. I love how tiny his face gets when inflated. Let's give his in-game model an A tier. We've quickly jumped to the Angry Birds Transformers versions now. There's really just not that many Bubbles to cover, is there? We'll be going through all the comic and trailer versions of Bubbles afterwards, so if you don't care about Transformers, you could just skip ahead, I suppose. But the original Transformer Bubbles is based on is Jazz, the coolest Autobot out there.
You like jazz?
I do like jazz. Thanks for asking, Barry B. Benson. Bubbles is usually portrayed as a little kid, very childish in nature, so to give him sunglasses and have him drive a sports car in this game is a welcome switch up. And Jazz is decently strong in the game on top of all that. He's got a rapid fire and drives pretty fast, which is one of my favorite playstyles. I think I'll give him a modest A tier. I still can't fathom how this is even possible, but Angry Birds Transformers still gets updated to this day, and in March of this year, they freaking added Neon Jazz. I almost missed him. He wouldn't have been included in this video. Had to do a thorough search for Bubbles variants just to find the guy. And how does he differ? He doesn't. As we go through these characters, whenever there's a neon or private version of a Transformer, just know the weapon is the exact same, and they're only visually different. And visually, Neon Jazz is really nothing special. C tier. Ricochet's ability is in the name. His projectiles bounce off of objects to deal extra damage. I also kinda love the orange visor. It's that perfect harsh orange to contrast Bubbles' lighter color. S tier. I really love Ricochet. Next up is Blaster, giving us a much different look for Bubbles since this one's model is based on Chef Pig. That even means he drives a different car for the first time now. I like his original form better, I'm not gonna lie, but it's a nice shakeup. He also steals Sideswipe Sonic Blast, even improving them, making him superior as a whole. Let's give him a solid B tier. And Neon Blaster looks worse. His color is way more dull, and they took the model right from Neon Soundwave, meaning the tape on his chest has a Decepticon logo on it. Nice blunder, idiot. F tier. Apparently Sideswipe had an event called Damn I'm Good, which is not only hilarious, but means the game Angry Birds Transformers has the word damn in it. Maybe it's a good thing this game still gets updated. He's a fun variant with a whole new head, going for the black and red color scheme. I didn't even realize this at first, but Sideswipe's name also describes his ability, swiping objects to the side when hit. If he's strong enough, he just destroys the blocks, but in other cases, he can topple over towers. I love it, A tier. Here's our first private variant, and what's fun about these is that they're just dirty and covered in shit.
Disgusting!
So it does the same thing now, except he looks like shit, and the only way a person can own this character is by paying real life money. F tier. Neon Sideswipe looks quite a bit cooler, I can't even deny it. The neon shades really sell this one. I won't put it above the original though, I'm saying B tier. I'm pretty sure Red Alert in the original Transformers universe is a firefighter, so even though he's still driving a sports car here, they've given him a water gun to splash at the pigs. I kinda hate playing as this guy too. Overall, just do not like this version of Bubbles, but not enough to put him at the bottom. D tier it is. That is not a good sign for you, Private Red Alert. They made the water a little more vibrant for the guy, and that's the only change here. That is enough to put you on the bottom. F tier. The yellow on Sunstreaker is pretty sick, I won't lie. His weapon this time around is one of those beam attacks, a constant stream of damage rather than the usual individual shots we've seen for Bubbles so far. Again, it's a nice switch up, but I personally prefer most of the other variants' weapons so far. C tier. Once again, some of the neons are kinda cool. I like the orange they've given Sunstreaker here. C tier as well. Mirage surprisingly got a unique design and a new car to drive. That's very rare in the series if you couldn't tell. Can't say I love it, but I gotta respect it, and blue is a new color for the guy. His shots are pretty powerful too, and they're barely visible, which makes for a fun effect. Towers kinda just explode out of nowhere, it's awesome. With the name Mirage, he also can turn invisible to the pigs if he stops shooting, which is a really fun idea. I love playing as Mirage, but I think he looks kinda dumb. I suppose that evens out to a B tier overall then. And stupid Private Mirage is stupider and uglier, D tier. And for whatever reason, we also got not just a Neon Mirage, but Neon Private Mirage. Nothing about this is even private, he's just a damn neon! I actually love the purple though, that's going in B tier. And we're through. Thank the Lord. We've got a couple more bubbles to get through from the games before we move on to the shows and movies. And speaking of the movies, someone better tell Red his wife is secretly married to Bubbles. What the hell is this promotional art from Angry Birds Blast? Why Bubbles? Silver literally isn't even a character in this game. It makes no goddamn sense. Whatever, man. The point is, Silver's a two-timing jerk, and Bubbles appeared in Angry Birds Blast, which is kind of surprising. Hal, Stella, and Terrence all got left behind, yet orange is one of the primary color options to Blast. I kind of like the art style for this game, but I definitely prefer normal Bubbles over this one, who just sort of looks a little off. A tier. Then there's another Bubbles who looks even more off from another Blast game called Island. Not sure what to make of that, so I'm just saying C tier. And now we've made it to his next big appearance, Angry Birds 2. Bubbles gets to be in another Slingshot game, which is great, but it really feels like this game was not built for Bubbles. The entire point of Bubbles is to get into a tower and push it from the inside, ideally a structure that's difficult to topple. But no structure in Angry Birds 2 is like that. The tiniest push kind of destroys each tower in the game. I couldn't find a single instance while playing that worked well for Bubbles' ability. I love how he looks in this Toons style, and I love that he gets to be here at all, but I never bring him into levels, and I think that's the game's fault, not mine. Prove me wrong, let me know in the comments if you personally bring in Bubbles on your team in this game, but until then, he's a C tier dude. Now we're getting to the good stuff. The best part about Bubbles, in my opinion, has got to be the trailers and cinematics. It's where his personality shines through. It's where the Halloween spirit lives on, and he's responsible for one of my all-time favorite Angry Birds trailers, the Ham-O-Ween update. The art style on this one is so fun and incredibly stylized. I always love seeing Mighty Eagle drop the tiny piece of candy from his beak. That's priceless. But the whole point of this trailer was to introduce the new orange bird to the world, as the Blues see a giant monster looming in the woods. But when they go to investigate, all they find is a tiny little bird eating their candy. Well, long story short, the little orange bird jumps into the King Pig's candy bucket, is left on the conveyor belt between pigs while the Blues attempt to save him, but when King Pig grabs the piece of candy Bubbles wanted, he finally gets angry for the first time, inflating inside the castle, getting his candy back, and deflating into a support beam, toppling the entire building over as it ends. I've always loved how tiny Bubbles appears here. I kinda wish he was the smallest bird in the flock. It would make his inflated form so much more menacing in comparison. Nowadays, he's typically the same size as the other birds, and bigger than the Blues. Regardless, I love this version of Bubbles, and this trailer as a whole deserves an S tier. 1 year later, we got another Halloween update and therefore a second Halloween animated trailer called Trick or Tweet. Once again, I love this trailer so goddamn dearly. It captures the Halloween vibes amazingly and is animated in the classic Toons style. We see each bird knock on the door of a mysterious pig's house, becoming so scared when they see him that they drop their candy and run for their lives. By the end, he has a pile of candy, and as we see the scary pig for the first time, he takes off his costume and reveals himself as Bubbles, of course, taking all the candy for himself. He's so goddamn cute in this trailer. There's one last knock on the door, so he inflates back into costume, which is a nice touch, and he's greeted by none other than Terrence and all the birds he scared away to seemingly take all their candy back. Genuinely, you couldn't make a better animated trailer if you tried. But we're ranking the bubbles here, not the animation, and I like him just a tad less than the previous one, A tier. Let's move to Angry Birds Toons, which had the amazing tradition of releasing a Halloween episode in each season, giving us 3 appearances of Bubbles throughout the show. I honestly love that, and it's kind of insane to me that they even went through with this. No other birds were introduced throughout the show's 3 seasons, and surely it would be easier to just make the main flock celebrate Halloween. But Toons is the GOAT and made these episodes extra special. It's also kind of funny that each one of these is Bubbles versus King Pig, with Bubbles basically always coming out on top. In Season 1 we got Night of Living Pork, where King Pig is attacked by a horde of zombie pigs. Bubbles appears to get some candy for himself, being surprisingly modest, I'm not gonna lie, and since the zombie pigs fight back, he takes them all out with some candy-themed weapons. Well, this means they only come back stronger, so now he has no choice but to inflate them all out of the castle, taking out all of King Pig's candy in the process. Bubbles actually shows remorse here, which so far we haven't really seen, funny enough. He's usually entirely selfish when it comes to candy. In Season 2, we have Sweets of Doom, a much stranger episode. Bubbles dresses as a vampire this year and straight up steals candy from pigs. He attempts to do the same to King Pig, resulting in a showdown between the two. My favorite moment is when Bubbles' beak sticks into the wall, so he inflates to knock out King Pig too. King Pig wins the fight though, discovering some green glowing candy, so he eats it first, turning into a giant Cthulhu monster. Okay then. Bubbles dies up with tentacles, spreading candy out for everyone to turn to little squids, and despite watching all this happen, Bubbles is so goddamn greedy he eats it anyways. And they refuse to even show us the transformation, that's so rude. Lastly, in Season 3 we got Porcula, featuring King Pig as an actual vampire. As he's committing heinous acts, Bubbles casually strolls along asking for some candy. Somehow King Pig saying no makes both of them angry, so the feud begins. Each time King Pig attacks, Bubbles always has the upper hand. With his final attack, he sinks his teeth into Bubbles, who nonchalantly inflates himself, only giving King Pig air to suck in. Does Bubbles not have blood? Is he just fully filled with air? That's what the final episode seems to imply, I guess, and that one is easily the worst of the 3 specials. I thought I'd go through these more thoroughly, as it's the best glimpse at Bubbles we ever get in animated form. These episodes are his spotlight, and they make him the character we know and love him as. This is the Bubbles, and I have no choice but to put his Toons version in S tier. Moving to the movies, well, I can't say I'm as big of a fan, unfortunately. In terms of design, he's pretty great, I won't deny it. I love how tiny they made him, and it's fun that he stays the most round out of all the birds. He kinda has the bird design most people would expect, simply given the round character we already had, arms and legs. He's perfectly designed, I won't deny it. But he's barely in this movie. The only scene he actually matters in is the final Slingshot scene where he gets to exist for the first time. He launches forward, gets attacked by pigs, and inflates bigger than we have ever seen him before. That's pretty awesome. I don't know how the hell in universe that makes any sense at all, but at least he got to do what he does best here. He's also voiced by Ian from Smosh, and I just don't think his voice fits very well. I'm not sure Ian's the greatest voice actor anyways. I like how he casually inflates during other scenes in the movie as well. He just isn't given the chance to shine. He doesn't eat a single piece of candy either. In the second movie, he was deleted. That's so evil.
I have no idea why they didn't cast you in it. I can say though, I probably could have said, I'm not doing this unless my friend's in it, but I didn't say that. I just showed up and said, what do you want me to do? I'll do anything for you, Angry Birds.
No, I get it. Like, I did a bad job.
I don't think you did a bad job.
Apparently, he'll be in the third movie, though I cannot imagine he will have an important role. I do think he's good enough to give a B tier, at least. Thankfully, they also released an animated short for Bubbles and Hal, who were rightfully buddies in this movie, which was something I always imagined for some reason, even though the two were literally never paired together before now. But anyways, Ian and Anthony from Smosh got to improvise a little scene for the two of them, and I really love how it turned out. They make a joke about Bubbles being the least Angry Bird out there, and they are spot on. And Ian's voice acting here for Bubbles fits so much better than it did in the movie. Maybe because he gets to talk for more than 5 seconds, and it's in a normal speaking voice.
Did you see our little bit that they animated? It was really good.
That was good. Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah, the animated bit, we just like improv'd like a thing and then they animated all that. That was really, really cool.
That's so cute.
It's not in the movie. It's like on YouTube. You can find it.
It's like its
fun.
own little special thing. It's not even in CG or anything, but it's good.
It's better than the movie.
It is better than the movie.
He looks really fat here though, it's kind of weird. I like his personality more in the short, but like the 2D look for him a little less. It's a funny switch up. I guess that means he's a B tier again. There's an illustrated book called Stella and the Hunt for the Jade Egg that surprisingly gives Bubbles a main character role. I'm not sure I've ever seen a Bubbles and Stella interaction before now. Basically, Red tells Stella and the other younger flock members they're not old enough to help, so they set out on their own to save the day, complete with pig-knout disguises to cover Bubbles' long beak. He looks so interesting in this art style. In some pages he looks great, while in others he looks like a completely different character. I kinda like it and kinda hate it at the same time. But this is generally a pretty fun story, and this one panel where they're looking down on Chef Pig is pretty awesome. I love getting to see a Bubbles and Stella adventure, and so I'm giving this Bubbles an A tier. There's another series of storybooks with a much more detailed art style, giving us a nice look at the whole flock standing together. Bubbles even gets to be front and center here, and it truly is just his normal look with shading. Not my favorite, I'd go as low as C tier here. In yet another series of books, Bubbles got his very own story titled Bubbling Over. During a big storm, some of the birds accidentally knock some caramel out of Bubbles' mouth and he goes ballistic. He lost his last piece of candy and apparently he has never run out of candy before this very moment. He puffs up in anger before getting his caramel back, and for whatever reason is unable to shrink back down to normal size. Why? Because the book says so, I guess. Even Bubbles himself doesn't know why. He gets picked up by the wind and floats around a bit, leading to this incredible piece of art here. I'd frame that shit and put it up on my wall. That's beautiful. He manages to half deflate, but can't fully, looking like this throughout the rest of the book, as the birds try various ways to cheer him up. He only manages to fully deflate when Red gaslights him into thinking candy has gone extinct. What a strange and nonsensical story, dude. It went nowhere. It was really written too. I feel like I was reading an AI story or something. This is hashtag not my bubbles, dude. D tier. Our last book is from the Angus movie and depicts Bubbles playing the bagpipes. That's all, S tier. Of course, in the Angry Birds comics, Bubbles made a few appearances as well. He was known as a mute character. While the others could all talk, he just chirped like a bird, which is pretty interesting, but also kind of means he's never going to have an important role in any of these things. Later in the comics, he eventually got to speak, meaning he had more meaningful appearances. In the very first issue of the comics, there's a part where pigs are sending drawings of lies to the birds to tear them apart, and Bubbles gets scared of Red because of a drawing where he pops Bubbles. That is a horrifying drawing. I had no idea that something that could even happen to the poor guy. For the 15th anniversary comics, Bubbles got to be the star of the show in Mission Impossible Bubbles. It's genuinely one of my favorite comics they've released, with Bubbles just being a manic, naive psychopath. He intends to infiltrate King Pig's candy vault, so he gathers a team to break in. He eats candy and involuntarily expands in the vault, then burps in the pig's eyes to successfully escape with the entire stash. I particularly love this one page where Hal accidentally convinces Bubbles to go through with such a thing, and we get to see baby Bubbles for the first time. Great stuff. Other than that though, he does get done dirty so goddamn often. Look at page 9 of issue 7. That's supposed to be Bubbles right there. They turned his eyebrows into hair and gave him different eyebrows. The disrespect, dude. I'm just gonna throw a few random comic drawings I've collected onto the tier list here, just based on how much I'd like the look of each one. We also got Transformers comics, which included Jazz in a 2D art style for the first time. He looks a little strange here, I'm not gonna lie. I love this part when he asks the eggs if they want any candy, and then proceed to shoot him in the fucking face, and he says, "You could've just said no!" Genuinely, that's hilarious. He's still going in D tier though, I hate how he looks. Finally, we have a couple of social media posts I just thought gave us really funny looks at Bubbles. A guy who seemingly eats so much goddamn candy that he starts his weekend off puffed up and scarfing it down like he's having the time of his life, before crashing on Monday with shit smeared all over his lips. I've just never seen Bubbles drawn this way. He's more manic and deranged than ever before, and I love it. I'm either gonna put one in F and one in S, or just throw them both at the top. I'll let my future self decide that one. We've made it to the merch section of our video, and just like with Hal, there's really not a lot to cover. Bubbles might even have less than Hal. He doesn't have a Halloween costume like the more popular birds, he never got a Lego minifigure during the movie set's run, I only found like one t-shirt of the guy, I don't even think that's official. But of course he had a plush. In fact, he actually had two. Let's start with the basic one, of course, which is pretty much perfect, I'd say. He's got his long beak, he's got fluffy head and tail feathers, and he's even life-size. I can't imagine a better plush for the guy, except for his inflated version, dude. I never owned this one because I had a limited allowance as a kid, but now I regret that decision. His tiny little face on a giant body is incredible and was translated perfectly from the game. They even got his damn cheeks right. That's an S tier, and we'll put the regular plush in A for simply being a tiny bit inferior. While those are the only Bubble plushies that officially released, we know of a few prototypes for his other designs. Obviously Cosmic Bubbles was planned, I'm surprised it wasn't officially released even. All the others got plushies, so he just kinda got left out. He looks a little off though, and I can't put my finger on why. Maybe his forehead is too big? That feels like the biggest difference between these two plushes. It doesn't look great, I'm not gonna lie. We also got an Angry Birds Go variant where he's wearing his cool sunglasses. Again, he looks off, and part of that might be they forgot his black belly. I think the beak is different too. Neither turned out too great, so I think I give them both a C tier. Speaking of Angry Birds Go, of course we got telepods for that game too, which were toys of life figures you'd scan to the game. I own all of them, which of course includes my Bubbles figure, once more rocking those sick sunglasses. He looks great, and they were able to give him his long beak and head feathers thanks to some rubber pieces. I have no complaints, I guess that means S tier. On the exact other hand, Jazz got a Transformers telepod and it looks awful. Look at the face, his eyebrows are huge and his smile is horrifying. I can't even look at him for too long, I'm gonna have nightmares tonight. Also, let's look at his model in game real quick. And now look at whatever this is. He has no sunglasses, his car is a completely different color, and look at what he's driving. That's not even a sports car. This isn't goddamn Jazz, I don't know who this is. An imposter, surely. The Transformers telepods are terrible, and this is the easiest F tier of my life. If you couldn't tell by the fact I'm including this dog tag, I'm scrambling to find merch to include this guy. That thing is way too orange anyways, D tier. And lastly, we have a fruit snack. That's right, you are currently looking at a gummy that's meant to represent Bubbles. If it wasn't orange, I'm not sure I could have identified myself. I suppose they got his beak in his eyes, that's pretty impressive. But all I'll say is I hope he tastes better than he looks. D tier. Let's move to our last series of Bubbles as we wrap up our video. I will forever be pissed off until the day I die they made a show called Bubble Trouble, and Bubbles ain't even in it. The only other show he appeared in shares a design with his new Angry Birds Friends 3D design, Slingshot Stories. Randomly in Season 4, Episodes 5 and 26, and maybe more I haven't seen yet, Bubbles is just there, despite not appearing prominently in any other episodes. Why even have him as a cameo? Just make him a main character, there's no reason not to. As for his modern 3D design, I actually quite like it. The best render we have is him in Eternal Terror. Poor little guy. But it's well done. A tier. For whatever reason, every character got redesigned in Angry Birds Friends, except for Bubbles, which is kind of insane. Maybe his deflating animation was too much work for them to do a second time. I wouldn't put it past Modern Rovio. I ranked Hal's costumes in Angry Birds Seasons, so I guess it's tradition now. Bubbles has 12, dude, what the hell? Some of them are very strange. Up first is a cool little outfit, a white jacket and a purple shirt. You should all be as shocked as I am that this is a Hulk reference. What are you talking about? It looks fine without that info though, the C tier. Then he's meant to look like a fish in this one, which is really stupid, F tier. Then he takes a bath, which is much more fitting for him, B tier. Then he sits on a square of chocolate. This is a costume? F tier. He puts on some goggles for the best one yet, A tier. He becomes a gingerbread house, which is fitting, but really dumb looking, so D tier. Then what the hell is this? Apparently he's the big bad wolf now, like why? How does that fit Bubbles at all? F tier, obviously. Sculptor's fine, B tier, the movie one is great, S tier, his Grim Reaper one is cute, A tier, the Snowman one is poorly made, F tier, and finally, the ship in a bottle is pretty creative. Makes no sense for Bubbles specifically, but I'll take it, A tier. And all of these are better than Matilda's Hitler costume, I can say that with confidence. In Angry Birds Reloaded, he turned out pretty good, looking nearly identical with a tiny bit of shading and some light in his eyes. I think I'd be a hypocrite to go lower than S here, he obviously just looks as great as he was before. They've even recreated his inflated form 1-to-1, with an extended tongue and everything. Again, it's nearly identical, so to S tier it goes. Space Bubbles similarly looks great, and even has an angry expression here that I love. So the same logic applies, and he goes in the same tier as before. He became one of the most premium characters in Angry Birds Balance, requiring you to play 60 levels to unlock him. I wish I had the time to do such a thing. Then again, he apparently shouts legit when you get a good combo, so maybe he's not as worth it as I initially thought. How Bubbles works in this game is he has a chance to inflate when bouncing off of enemies, crushing and pushing back pigs in his path. Makes perfect sense. I'm not sure how else he can inflate in his gameplay style. I absolutely adore the look of the characters in this game, and obviously Bubbles is no exception, so let's give out one last S tier before the end here. The newest Angry Birds game is called Angry Birds Rush, and if you've never seen it before, it's sort of like a Subway Surfers type game, except you bounce off of pigs and other objects as you go, rather than running endlessly. I think that makes more sense, to have the birds launching rather than running like Omnom decided to do in his game, but either way I can't say this is all that great of a game. I tried it for myself, but of course it takes a while to unlock Bubbles, so I didn't make it far enough. All I got to do was see him watch me launch and get sad every time I faked him out. Surprisingly, his 3D model looks a tiny bit different here. That or this is just a different expression, very grumpy looking. I do like it though, but I am sad to say I don't think he can even inflate in this game. What's the point then, man? Bubbles without inflation is like life without breathing. It's just not right. For that reason, he's going down to C for me. And let's see here, our last Bubbles is for... What? Ah! Who is that? Oh my god, who is that? Get him the hell away from me! Get him the hell away from me! That's how we're ending the list? Are we serious right now? F tier! No! I honestly can't believe we've seen every Bubbles already, dude. Compare that to Hal, who is getting a new design every time I close my eyes. Bubbles has looked the exact same from start to finish, and there were honestly more art style changes in the beginning than there were towards the end. Well, if Bubbles is anything, he sure is consistent. Born as a Halloween mascot, he's evolved into a character who just sort of appears now and again throughout the series. If there's a mainline game, he's probably in it, despite barely being tied to his candy-loving habits or inflation abilities anymore. I'm waiting for the day that Bubbles gets a personality again. I'd even love to see him redesigned once. Just something new is needed for the poor little guy. I don't think a single other Angry Birds character is like this. The main flock have all had a ton of unique versions. Stella got her own spin-offs. Even Silver looks drastically different thanks to her movie design. Bubbles puts on a smile, but it is clear after this video that he is trapped in there, waiting for his day to burst out and shine. And I'll be there, cheering when he does. Let me know which version of Bubbles is your favorite, and if you agree with me that he has completely stagnated over the years. Maybe you simply love the guy and are happy he's never changed. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you'd like to support me in the videos I make, consider joining my Patreon or becoming a channel member like Patrick Barjan, Keep, Callum Ford, Timur Kurnab, Aaron the Ghoul, Freakish Smile, Lewis, MGR Damadan, Einerjar, Jonathan Biscoff, Kirby Fanreal 1992, Green Man Yeah, MacDax 2, Lavatane Chillin', Test Monkey, Jeff the Legend, OK, Bobcat 217, Razor BVG, Jim from Angry Birds, Hortzithos 9250, Tobias Elfan, Kuguso, Dawn Nightshade 666, Pos 2, and Skibbity. To be honest, I chose Bubbles for the simple fact that I need a shorter video to work on, and any other flock member would have had way more to cover. I already knew going in that he is easily the most stagnant main flock member by far. So Bubbles fans should be happy he has so little changes in his history, or else this video might have never existed.